Can you start and build a YouTube channel in 2020 simply using this camera right here, the Canon G7X Mark II? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here at Cinematic Diaries. Today we're going to take a look at the Canon G7X and we're going to talk about whether or not this would be a sufficient camera to start and build your YouTube channel here in 2020. Now, this camera is already over 4 years old, as it was released back in February of 2016. I've been using this camera since 2018. I found it by one of my favorite YouTubers. His name is Eric Conover, and if you know him, he lives in New York City, and he was doing vlogs back around that time, and he's recently taken all of those videos down, and he's simply just doing walkthroughs of really expensive apartments and kind of like day in the life type videos in New York City. Now, granted, I don't think that he's still using this to film all of his videos with. I'm pretty confident he's using a more professional setup, but back in the day, this is what he was using. And then I'm sure there are a buku of different YouTubers out there, big channels that have a lot of subscribers that have built their YouTube channel simply using this camera right here. This camera is a powerhouse for several different reasons. And if you're looking to get started in YouTube in 2020, if it's something that you're wanting to do and have a passion for and you enjoy making videos and you need to come in on the cheap end, I highly recommend this camera. Is it a camera that's still usable and functionable and really good in 2020? Absolutely it is. Now, granted, it doesn't shoot 4K like a lot of newer cameras do, but in my personal opinion, I don't think 4K is a deal breaker. If you're really starting out and trying to build a YouTube channel, you're wanting to get something that's going to be affordable, and I highly recommend this. So let's talk about some of the highlighted features for this camera. And just a disclaimer, I want to focus more so on the video aspects of the Canon G7X as opposed to some of the photo. I've not really used it for photography very much. If I'm out and this is all I have and I want to get some shots of nature or there's something happening, I'll use it. But if I'm going out on a professional shoot, I'm definitely going to bring a more higher end full frame DSLR. Now, the first thing that sold me on this camera when I bought it back in 2018 was its price point. Back in 2018, when I decided to buy this camera, my wife and I were about to go on our honeymoon. We're about to get married, go on our honeymoon. We were headed to Tulum, Mexico, which I highly recommend for anyone that's about to find a place to go on their honeymoon, or if you just want to go on a really nice vacation. I wanted to take a camera, but I didn't want to take my Canon 77D because it was just too big. Granted, I still brought it for photography, but I wanted to vlog and I wanted something that was a bit more compact, right? So, but the first thing that really sold me on it was the price. It was affordable. It comes in at $600 today. Now, $600 is not super expensive, but at the same time it is. I would say if you're wanting 4K, the Canon G7X Mark III that came out, I believe, the next year, in October of 2017, that is only about $100 more, and I would recommend that as well. Pretty similar in some of the features. There are a few different specs. I don't have that camera, and so I can't really dive into those details, but what I do have is this one. And if you're not concerned with 4K and you're just fine with 1080p, this is a great camera for that. So it comes in at a price point of $600. The next thing that sold me on it, and one of the biggest reasons I bought it, was its compactability. It's very small. It only weighs about 1 pound, and it fits in the palm of my hand just like that. And if you wanted to, you could potentially put this in your pocket. You can put it in your purse if you have a small little handbag. It fits in any bag, any case, anything like that. But that's what really I was looking for, was something that was going to be a lot smaller so that when we went on that vacation, I wasn't carrying around a big camera and a tripod and looking like a tourist. I wanted to be discreet. The second thing is the flip LCD screen. Right here, as you can see, it folds in and out. You can flip it up and use it as a vlogging camera, which is what I used it for. You can also have it down at an angle just like this. And then if you have to shoot like up like that or down or something like this, you can flip it down. So it's pretty flexible in the LCD screen. The second thing about the LCD screen is it is a touch screen featured LCD screen as well. So I recommend this camera or even the Mark III for anyone that's looking to get into vlogging. Just if you want to make simple vlogs, let's say hypothetically you own a farm and you want to do a day in the life at the farm. I don't know what your property is called, but let's just call it, you know, like Creek Road Farms, right? Creek Road Farm vlog, right? We'll just call it that. If you wanted to start a vlog, this would be a great camera to use that for. So I recommend this for new YouTubers that want to start a vlog or just any sort of, stationary setup. I highly recommend this for video. And if you know anything about vlogging or making videos, being able to see yourself is crucial in vlogging and making those videos, because you want to be aware of what your white balance looks like, of what your exposure looks like, all of that stuff. And if you can't see yourself, it does complicate the situation. The next feature that is a huge plus is its built-in ND filter. Let me say that again. The built-in ND filter. And if you don't know what an ND filter is, ND stands for neutral density. And basically an ND filter acts as sunglasses for your lens. And so what you're able to do is keep your aperture at a lower f-stop when it's really bright outside. Notice if you don't have an ND filter, you're either going to have to crank up your f-stop or your shutter speed, and that's going to drastically change the image that you're using. And more than likely, your ISO in a bright sunny afternoon is going to be around 100. You're going to have to want to keep it a little bit lower so not as much light is getting in. And so those neutral density filters, especially the one that's built in on this one, comes in handy, and it is a game changer for sure. So if you're wanting to keep that nice blurry background in your films, in your videos, I highly recommend something that has a neutral density filter capable lens. If it's built in, or even if it was an actual lens that is detachable, you can buy neutral density filters. This is Moment's neutral density filter. This is the ND4 through ND32. So this is perfect for the Sigma lens that I have that you're seeing this video through right now. So I'm gonna link this below as well. And all of these products are gonna be linked below that you can check out. Another highlighted feature of this camera is the fact that there's no detachable lens. Now, for some people, they don't like that. I sometimes don't like that, but I like it with this camera if it's a run and gun type video. If I just need to throw up a camera and just get a shot of something somewhere, I like the fact that the lens is already connected. It's there, it's all in one. Let's call it that. It's an all-in-one camera. It's an all-in-one video camera. It makes it so much easier when you're filming and making videos. The lens is a 24mm to 100, so it's got zooming capabilities, which is kind of cool. But at 24 frames, now that's not super wide, but it's wide enough for vlogging. What you're seeing right now is a 24mm shot, and while it's not ultra wide, it still is pretty wide. You're able to see myself, you're able to see some of the background and the sides, but if I were to zoom in a little bit closer on this lens, you wouldn't be able to get that same space in your frame. So it is a fixed lens at 24mm to 100mm. Another great feature about this is the in-body stabilization, the digital stabilization of this camera. If you do not have a tripod, if you do not have a gimbal, cameras like this are great for people that have a hard time keeping this thing steady. And as you notice, when you film with this thing, you'll notice a little bit of stabilization in there. And that helps dramatically when you are vlogging. And if you've ever watched one of those videos where the camera is just all over the place, it's super shaky, as the viewer, it makes you dizzy, it makes you, nauseous. It's not a cool thing to watch. And so being able to have a camera that helps with shaky hands whenever you're vlogging and moving around or whatever it is that you're doing goes a long way. As I stated before, this does not have 4K capabilities, which I'm personally okay with. What I'm shooting on right now, the Sony a7 III, I don't always shoot in 4K simply because the file size is so massive. It bogs down my computer when I'm trying to edit. It's a big file. So being able to shoot in 1080p, which I sometimes do on this one, what I'll do is I'll upload it in 4K and then export it in 4K. So it still has a 4K image, but it's shot in 1080p. So I want things that are 4K because I want that option and that capability, especially if I'm shooting a professional video. But if I'm just starting out on YouTube and I'm not really filming anybody else, I'm just set up in my office or my room, I'm doing fashion tutorials, I'm making a vlog on my farm, whatever, I want to keep those file sizes a lot smaller so that it's easier to upload, transcode, and edit and export, and doesn't take that much time. Having a 1080p camera and using it that way is definitely going to help. So while it doesn't have 4K, it is shooting 1080p, which is still fantastic, a fantastic image. It has the options of 24 frames a second, which I use in every video that I make. I shoot in 24 frames a second, unless I want to slow down the footage and have that slow-mo effect, or if I need additional stabilization. That's one trick that a lot of people use, is they'll use 30 frames a second or 60, and then they'll slow it down in order to stabilize it if the footage is a little too shaky. So try that trick sometimes. But the standard, most people shoot in 24 frames a second. And that's what this camera has, 24, 30, 60. It does not have 120 frames a second, which I'm not upset about. 60 frames a second still is really cool whenever you slow it down, and it still has that slow motion effect. And then lastly, a couple of more features that are highlighted here is number one, the color science. Canon is known for their colors. It just has a really good default color setting. You don't have to color grade it usually. You're gonna get a really nice image based on your white balance and based on what your preferences are. And then additionally, it is a Wi-Fi capable camera, and so you can download the app that's associated with it. I'm not sure the name of it, but be able to export off of the camera and an SD card straight onto your phone, so you can edit right there on the go if you need to post on social media. Let's just say hypothetically you're shooting a vertical video for Instagram and you want to have really good quality video. You can export that, upload that to your phone, edit it in iMovie or whatever app that you use to edit in, and then post it. Now, with any camera, you got to know that there are some cons. Nothing is perfect, and that's just the way that life is, and that's okay. There are a couple of things with this camera that make it not completely perfect, while it is very close. Number one is the autofocus. It hunts a lot, and it seems more so recently that I've been using it. It has been hunting, and it drives me crazy, because all of a sudden I'm vlogging or talking to it and then it just goes out of focus, and I'm like, I try touching it, and I don't know if I need to update the firmware on it. That's probably my fault. So if there's firmware, make sure you update it and update your camera, because it could be the problem, right? So Justin, update your firmware, because you probably haven't. So it sometimes hunts. It's not horrible, but I have noticed it in the past, so be aware of that. And then the second thing is there's no mic input or output for an external mic. You're just having to use the mic that's on board here at the top of the camera. And so whenever you are vlogging or shooting someone, make sure your finger is not right here in the middle, because you will be putting it over the mic and it will muffle it and your video will be ruined. Trust me, I've been there, and it is incredibly frustrating. So either just leave it the way it is, or you can get like one of those wind shields, those dead cat wind shields, and put over the top of it so you know. Or if you wanted to, you can go ahead and spend that extra $100 on the Mark III, which does have an audio input source so that you can put an external mic on there. I don't know if there's a hot shoe mount on that version where you can like have a mic, but if you had if you were just vlogging in your bedroom and you had a mic stand, you could do that. And while I said this video is I'm not going to be talking too much about the photography portion of this camera, it still is really good for photography. It's got a 1-inch sensor, and you can shoot up to 8 frames per second in continuous mode, which is pretty cool, pretty good. I would not use this for a professional photo shoot for portraits. Landscapes I would, just wildlife, if I'm out on a run or a hike or something and I don't want to carry my big DSLR, but I do want to take some shots, some photos, I'm going to take this bad boy. So can you start and build a YouTube channel filming on the Canon G7X Mark II? Absolutely, you can. All in all, I absolutely love this camera, and I'm very glad that I bought it. I love the compactability of it. I love the lightweightness of it. I love the flips LCD screen, and just the fact that it's so easy to vlog with. And vlogs are dirty. They're messy. They're not meant to be absolutely perfect. So you can get away with some of that autofocus messing up. You can get away with some of the audio not being absolutely like film quality. That's okay. It's a vlog. Guys, if you have enjoyed this video, let me know by liking it. Let me know in the comments below if this was helpful. If you are on the journey of trying to start a YouTube channel, let me know. I want to help you and give you the resources and the tools that you need to be able to do the things that you want to do and to be creative. Yeah, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more just like it. We'll see you in the next one.